Welcome to Financial Health channel.
In my previous article, I tried to explain how to go from economic man to human in pursuit of happiness. If we stay on the same course as we are now, politicians, experts, the media, and their sponsor will lose their business. Just look at what is happening in England, Iran, Ireland, Sri Lanka, China. You will tell me, yes, there are protests in each of these countries, but for very different reasons. I agree that on the surface there are differences, but the underlying reasons are the same. A growing population with less and less resources available to create wealth. This crisis is expressed in different ways depending on the particularity of each country, and its management is different for each country. In England, this crisis is expressed by the search for scapegoat, immigrants and the European Union, through psychological manipulation, demagogues supporting the no convince just enough voters. Since then, the Conservatives have been trying to manage the self-destruction of a capitalist system, the economic man, which has never been more than an illusion. The Prime Minister, with his Minister of Finance, have decided to put a cap on electricity and gas tariff for all consumers, rich and poor. They also announced the cancellation of taxes for the rich. The market looked at this for what it was, a political decision. A decision that goes against the very orthodoxy of the market economy. They increase the debt and finance with more deficit since they have eliminated income from taxes. This will cost around 4% of the gross national product per year to finance the capping of energy bill. The International Monetary Fund warned the UK that this was a very bad decision, falling within the voodoo economy. The IMF and the market signaled to the United Kingdom that the financing of their decision cannot be made on expected growth, but on planned growth. Apparently, this fell on deaf ears as the government has indicated that they will not release details of their plan until November. They act this way because it's a political decision that benefits the wealthiest, the billionaires, who think they are immune to climate change, out of reach in their frictionless bubble. The population took to the street to protest against their impoverishment. Finally, under pressure from the market and from some of the conservatives, the government decided to cancel the eradication of the tax rate for the richest taxpayer. The Prime Minister had to separate from his Chancellor. The Premier could not stay in power, and they had to give the technocrat back control of the economy to appease the market with predictability. Whatever they do, that will not appease the market or the people. Why? Population in other countries are also protesting for the same thing, their impoverishment due to a decrease in their ability to produce wealth. Autocrats face the same discontent. The Russians protest with their feet against the grip Putin the maniac has on their lives as they flee the mobilization for a war against reality in the shadow of the rehabilitated statue of Stalin. Iranian women take to the street to protest against the Ayatollah who traded their mysticism for a specific number of folds in the headscarf. Their religious literalism is no strength against people's vital needs. In India, this takes the form of corruption at all levels of society and an 86% increase in the tech support scam. This is gradually destroying India from within, which sooner or later will no longer be able to function. In China, the younger generation of workers is embracing Tang Ping. This means laying down, taking a break from endless work, working just enough to meet the company's minimum standard, and earning just enough money to meet basic needs. They already know that they will not be able to achieve a higher standard of living than their parents. Same things in the United States. In France, refinery workers are on strike for wage increase for which no one is ready to negotiate, while any dialogue will be an opportunity to become aware of our wandering as quickly as possible. Democracy elect autocrats. They blame each other. The failure of all these leaders is not to see or ignore the unhappiness of their population, which is due to a generalized impoverishment coming from a reduction in available resources. They have a governance that is incidental to their business. The money of their supporter, sponsor, interest group, or worse, ideal, fundamentalist belief destroying the absurd beauty of life in a nihilistic rage. This generalized impoverishment, access to resource, water, gas, oil, grain, etc., will force our society through their implosion to reorganize themselves outside the institutions that have been empty of their authority. Our representatives, by their venality, their nihilism, have empty of their meaning the name, the word, the language of their functioning and organization by which their authority had been transferred to them from and by society in an imaginary act of trust and of faith personified by political debate. This reorganization will take place once human being has recognized his failure to become the master of nature. We put ourselves outside of nature. We have a material approach to our earth. Not only of our earth, but also of our life, of our existence. We choose to exist as things to avoid facing our finitude. This choice distorts our relationship to nature, to our nature, and we find ourselves wandering in an illusory conquest. We make two mistakes. We think of ourselves as an entity external to nature, whereas we are of the world, and we refuse to be at the world. Not only are we part of nature, but this nature is within us. It's not outside of us. Indeed, we were created from the same star. When we look at the star, we are looking at our own reflection. We look at our own eyes. We physically experience becoming the other. We cannot become master of nature since we are of nature. The climatic change that affect our lives, our existence, are so many self-mutilation. Indeed, Spinoza had shown us that we believe ourselves to be free. We think we make our own choices out of free will. It's just an illusion. Everything we do is due to a previous cause, to a chain of causes and effects. Our existence is inextricable from that of nature, in a chain of causes and effects coming from beyond our celestial vault. We are of the world. As for the second mistake we make, our refusal to be at the world. Unfortunately, at the moment, we are in the phase where, as a conscience, we have to test for ourselves the harmful effect of our devotion to the hypocrite who represent us. Hegel said that this is the only way to arrive at a through. This through will be, and moreover already is, that people want concrete solution to concrete problem. Drinking water, water to cultivate, food to have the energy to work and create wealth. Sufficient energy resources for heating and or protection from the heat. We will then choose representatives who are not demagogic, but who have real expertise in the problem of subsistence, which we must face sooner or later. With diminishing available resources and growing population, we will also have to rethink how we redistribute wealth to respond to the growing inequalities evidenced by the disappearance of the middle class. We will have to decide the fate of the billionaire. We created them by giving them our tax dollar that funded the innovation that made them successful. Isn't it high time we ascend to our preferred shareholder status? This thought cannot be limited to billionaires, but to the entire wealth-producing apparatus. Everyone will have to make sacrifices necessary to reinvent our social contract as man in pursuit of happiness in order to adapt to our new nature. Having said that, how to proceed? This reinvention, born of the lack of resources endangering our existence, will appeal to our human nature, which is to be at the world. We will engage our consciousness of being to debate and create, through our language ability, a new vocabulary, words giving birth to new institutions, endowed with an authority transferred by our faith and our imagination. It is our imagination, free of illusion, that will be the source of our salvation.